We all know that the opposite of success is failure. But what if I tell you that the opposite of success is not failure, instead, it is perfectionism? This is Hari here, and you are watching Coach to Clarity. We all have been taught from our childhood days that it's always good to be perfect in life, or rather, you have to be perfect in everything that you do. It's not actually really required. If you look at perfectionism, the study says perfectionism is a psychological problem that makes a person to keep his standards of life and his own standards for evaluating his or her own self to that extent which is not practical and makes his or her life stressful and miserable. If you look at people who are perfectionists, we can find, in a broad sense, we can find two types of people. One are those who give high standards for evaluating their own lives, and the second one are those who keep such standards of evaluation for others with whom they comes in contact with. If you take it the first case, those people who keeps their own standards of life and their own standards for evaluating their own self really high, they will end up not performing or not coming up with an outcome. Why? Because they will always keep their standards so high that whatever outcome they come up with will not match with their own set standards. So they'll find a huge difference, they'll find a gap, and they'll rather end up not coming up with an outcome to avoid failure. And the second type are people who keep such high levels of standards for them who comes in contact with them. That means they'll keep themselves safe but will put others in trouble. They'll find it difficult to accept the kind of work that others do. In this course of action, both of them will face high levels of stress and anxiety. This will at times make them fall into depression because they'll always feel that they are underperforming, or the second type of people will feel that the world is useless and they cannot move anything in this world. If you look at perfectionism a little closer, you'll find that perfectionism is not an inner drive or a good quality that leads a person towards success. Instead, it is a tool used by people to hide their failures, or it is a defensive mechanism in people which helps them hide from failures. When a person is not coming up with an outcome, what they are doing is they are delaying their outcome. So delaying their outcome gives them an immediate satisfaction and happiness. It's more like you becoming a procrastinator. This is what exactly happens in procrastination. A task in hand you will feel is not important. Rather, you will look at something which gives you an immediate pleasure and satisfaction. So when you guys feel that your standards are not met with the outcome that you come up with, you will find something else which is not taking an action or not doing something which does not meet that set standards. So you will end up doing something else, and at the end you will regard yourself as a failure, and you will have a lot of guilt. You will have a lot of problem dealing with your own self. You'll have internal conflicts, and you will even find your self-esteem to be on a lower side. So now if you'll ask me what are the ways in which we can tackle the situation, the first thing what you have to do is keep your expectations little low. Meaning you don't have to be 100% in everything that you do. You can set your expectations at 80 or 90, leaving a room for your own self to improve. When you give that 10% or 20% or 30% gap to improve, what you're actually doing is you're telling yourself that it's fine if I'm not attaining 100%, because if I start doing something on the process or during the process, I can improve and attain 100% later. So this will help you get rid of that state where you don't take actions and get stuck. Second thing is, mostly people who are perfectionists end up in a situation or a state which is called analysis paralysis. What happens is we keep analyzing things to that extent, to that depth, that we get paralyzed deep within, thinking if I do this, this will happen, if I do that, that will happen, and you do whatever, you're not meeting your own standards and you get paralyzed. So stop doing unnecessary analysis and deep thinking so that you can at least start performing. Third thing, what you can do is you should not expect everybody to deliver the same kind of standards that you have in your own mind. When you expect others to deliver that standards, and when you actually see the outcome on the lesser side, you are disheartening yourself first, and at the same time you are putting the other person in trouble. You are actually not helping the other person to come up in life, because with your reaction he or she might feel that they are not really performing well. That will affect their self-esteem, their confidence level, everything. So it's both ways. You should take care of yourself, and you should also take care of other people who comes in contact with you. When you do all of this, you'll find your atmosphere changing, and you'll find yourself changing, and you will find a win-win situation. So guys, I wish you a action-packed, stress-free life. I'll see you soon, and you guys take care.